So I felt like I lived in a dungeon. And let me explain. When I was 27, I was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. And I spent the next few years working with counselors, trying to find hope and healing and peace. And I did. And this is 20 years later after I've been healed and blended. And I am sharing my story just to give hope to other people. And when I say I lived in a dungeon, that is how I literally felt. I would flip into parts that were just trapped in a dungeon of darkness, of pain, of despair. I talked a little bit in my video yesterday about the one I called my little zombie, who was ice cold from the inside out, and just the pain that they held and the memories that they held away from me that I wasn't ready to listen to at first and find out what happened. I did not want to know. They terrified me. And I can remember trying to get close to God, and I said every time I tried to get close to God, my very first stepfather's chair would become God's throne, or I should say, when I was worshiping God, God's throne became this chair. And I even had a little part draw a picture of the chair. Yeah, it was pretty darn scary for parts to go to church. And I can remember sometimes, even during worship and church, I would flip into another part, and they were terrified. Leah would always pray with me after church, which was really nice because she would just pray for peace, for a calm. She would pray and, tell them, it was okay to let me come back right now, that we will hear their stories, but, at a different time. And I can remember so many times I would feel like I was in the dungeon, and I would just be ice cold, and I would go wait outside Leah's office door, and I would sit on the floor just curled up into a little ball and just wait. And it was really awesome because everybody left me alone. Nobody bugged me. Nobody, they just knew I was waiting for Leah to pray for me. And once I told Jen, who is now my best friend after 24 years. I told her about my diagnosis. She would come and she would sit on the floor with me, and we would sit there together. And she knew she couldn't pull me out of that place, that there were parts that were just really scared and really sad and we called it my dungeon because it was a way to put a boundary around what I was feeling. And so she would sit with me in my dungeon. And Jen, if you've seen her in a past video, you know she's a jokester. I do not know how she could get that part of me to crack a smile. Like, it was remarkable. I couldn't even tell you today what she said to them, but the fact that she was willing to sit with them there in the darkness, not go, come on, you can't feel like this, you're not here. Like, she didn't do any of that. She just sat with me in the darkness, and she's like, I got you. I'll keep you company down here till Leah can pray for you. Like, just being with someone, just sitting with them in their darkness is sometimes the only thing that helped the different parts. And so I'm very grateful for my friend Jen. Thanks, Jen, if you watch this. I appreciate you. I appreciate you sitting in the darkness with me. And what's amazing is God didn't leave me in that darkness. And I will tell more about this story, but God's throne is no longer my stepdad's red and black chair. Nope. He took back his throne, so to speak, at least in my head and what was going on with the parts. And this whole time of dealing with this, it was very much God is good, no, God is bad. No, God is good, no, God is bad. And I had to reconcile that with each part who had a different experience about God. And it's just part of this journey. And thanks for listening so much to my story. And there's so much more to come.